Lovely. All right, for sure. CloudLounGe with ReMM podcast.
Yo.
With
Dion.
Zzeu.
Special guests.
DSharp, LooseConnxshun.
Scraight up. We've been cooling here for a couple of hours trying to adjust everything. Also, I'm right here uploading the latest episode.
Can't wait.
Can't wait to see that, all of us, myself included.
Hilarious,
right now, hilarious, hippopotamus. But we're going to get straight to it. We got Dion, Sharp, LooseConnxshun, one half, should I say? Or
yeah, sure. You can say one half.
LooseConnxshun, beat making, beat designing, music producing, a general, an OG. What's up, man?
Thank you.
How's everything?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if everybody out there, thank you too.
Word. Big thanks everywhere.
How's everything your way?
Oh, it's good. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, well, we're going to get straight into it. It's all about the DNA. So where were you born?
Brooklyn, New York, and came up when I was a young man, up to Massachusetts. Came up to Holyoke, then Holyoke to Northampton. But spent a lot of time back and forth to New York, from New York to Northampton, Northampton back to New York.
So we got the first New York guy. I notice every episode I ask, oh, so you from New York? Or you not from New York?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. What was that bouncing back and forward like growing up?
It was good. You get the culture of New York, because it's hard. If you're from New York and you live in Massachusetts, it's a giant culture shock. You know, you're not, especially when you're coming from, like, where I'm from, New York, to Holyoke, Massachusetts. Where I was from, I was raised with a lot of African Americans and different people like that. But when I came to Holyoke, it was all Boricuas. It was all Puerto Ricans.
Word.
You know?
Yeah. Yep.
So, which was good, because that's my culture anyway. But I wasn't growing up with my culture like that. You know what I mean?
So you weren't necessarily cool with everyone around?
Nah, it took me a while to adjust, because they're like, oh, he's a Puerto Rican dude that speaks English.
With that being said, how was your upbringing?
It was, you know, when you're from New York, and I wasn't from a really good part of New York, but I wasn't from, like, my upbringing was kind of, my grandmother had a lot of children, so I'm the oldest of the grandchildren.
Okay.
But then I have a lot of uncles and aunts, and a lot of my background comes from, like, gangs and all that stuff from back in the days, you know, so it wasn't the greatest upbringing being from New York, but coming to Massachusetts, I think it became a little better, because I was getting cultured.
Right.
More than I was in New York.
Which culture brought music to you?
My Boricua background did more. I didn't know this. I never met my real father, but as I got older, my mom told me my real father was in a band and everything like that. So
instrumentation.
Yeah, he played congas. He played different things. So, of course, it didn't cross my mind when I started making music that kind of connected who I was. You know.
Yeah.
Almost like your inspiration.
Yeah, I think.
Sense,
I think so. And it's good to, like. So growing up, in that part, I almost didn't like who I was, because for me it was like, if I wasn't black, I wasn't anything.
Right.
You know. So then coming here, it was like being Puerto Rican. You become prouder, because you see your people, and some of them evolved, some of them obviously didn't. But I think every culture has the same difference. You know, but it felt good to see a lot of my family members that were doing good. I like to see them do good, because it made me want to do better. So yeah, I'm inspired by people that do good, but I'm more inspired by family members that do better.
Right.
You know?
Indeed.
I mean, and I'm saying not just better, like they went from doing drugs to, like, you know, they got a job. You know, like those little things are actually big inspirations before in my life too, because you know how hard it is for people to be in one way and then transfer from that addictive life to go into something where they're not doing that anymore, and they just kind of live a really good life. You know what I'm saying? That's God sent. That's God sent. So you got to respect that. I don't think I did when I was younger. I think I do now. As you get older, you look at things a little differently.
More appreciative.
Yeah.
True. So the music, all in all, getting into it, like, was it like straight hip hop, all elements, DJing, breakdancing, or dancing, or whatever the case may be, graffiti? Were you spitting or making beats? Like, tell me about that. You know what I mean?
So it was.
How'd you get into it?
I started off
Hip-hop.
doing breakdancing. I was really good at it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was a breakdancer. I was really good at it. And I was like only like 100, not even 100 pounds. I was like the skinniest dude in the whole block.
You had a special move.
Yeah, it was called
Wow.
being skinny.
I used to break dance as well, so
My special move, I think,
I had a special.
was this shit I used to do, and I could never do it now. I'm gonna tell you right now, maybe because I'm old, and I'll probably break a bone. Is I could took my arms from back here and move them all the way forward like that.
Oh.
If I try that right now, you're probably gonna have to send me to the hospital. I probably won't even be able to drive a car or anything else for a while.
Bay State
But-
ain't that far.
Yeah, and I can't do that now.
Yeah, my special
do that
move
now.
was doing the head spin. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it, man. That was my specialty.
That's a balance though, right? You got to
Yeah.
get a balance
Yeah.
first
It's
before
very
you spin
difficult.
on your neck. You putting all your
A lot
weight
of
on your neck
practice. A lot of practice. Now you're
when you're spinning. Like, what do you put in your
I'm
balance?
curious too, actually.
so
You know what I mean? Like
you
that.
have a hat, and you put tape on it.
Yeah.
So it's easier for balance. It's easier for grip, and it's more so like you're basically doing a hula hoop, but you're trying to balance while you're spinning. So
Fire.
upside down, but it's
That makes sense.
you should-
It's all in the hips
yeah.
because you need to twist your hip around with your leg, so your hip goes around and your body comes this way, and it's like that. That's how it is. It was really difficult. I tried to do when I was young. I think that's why I went from being a break dancer to being a popper, because I was like, yeah, this is a little bit too much for me. But popping, I felt like because I was so skinny, excuse me, I was able to maneuver my body a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So, funny, you can't see a dude my size right now popping anymore, so I won't be able to do it. And if I did do it, I wouldn't do it in front of y'all. By myself, nobody around, and not even in front of the mirror, because I don't want to see myself what I look like.
What was that
like you.
transition like? Becoming doing dancing and then
To music?
to music, yeah.
To music? I think the flow itself, I think it was a lot easier. I think when you're brought up listening to music, even if you're a break dancer or popper and you didn't actually make music, you still have rhythm.
Yes.
And if you got rhythm takes you everywhere. Rhythm designs things in your mind when you're creating music. It creates melodies, and melodies create music. So yeah, I think the transition wasn't hard because music itself, listening to, especially back in the days, listening to a lot of music, it was heavy kick and snares. So you got used to listening to the kicks and snares, and then you hear the hi-hats, and then all of a sudden, as life goes on, as it always does, you're listening to other things that people do nowadays. So you take a little piece of everything, and you create your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like making a sundae. You just grab a scoop of here, grab a scoop here, put some stuff, and all of a sudden you got what you want. You know?
So early, you took a liking into beat making.
I did.
And sampling and sound design.
Yep. Did some sampling. I did some sound designs. I did. I got into it more in Massachusetts than I did in New York.
And then why? Yeah.
And I think Massachusetts brought me to the forefront of making music because of the fact that a couple friends of mine were making music, and they were in this place in Holyoke. It was called Pine Studio, and not around anymore. But it was my
heard
first
about that.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first experience to actually sit in a studio and listen to and see what was going on, how certain things are created. And I was asking a bunch of questions, and then the guy who was mixing everything down, I told you the story before, told me to shut the fuck up because they were in the middle of making music. And I was like, yo, no disrespect. Like, I get it. I need to shut up. But my mind was open to it. It was like something I wanted to learn so bad. But I was like, eventually I'll get there. But the thought never crossed my mind. It was always there, constantly. So it was good to, like, if you don't ask those questions, I would have never thought about that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that.
Oh, I got a lot of questions, man.
Oh, please, hit me.
What was that experience like, being in the studio and him being like, hey, shut up? Like, did it rub you wrong at first?
Oh, no, I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
I was completely embarrassed. But you know what? A little humble pie doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It makes you, when you're amongst your grown-ups, right?
Yeah.
We being Latinos, you're not supposed to say no when the Latinos, the older people are talking. Yeah. You shut up, you let them talk. I knew that. But in a studio setting, I don't think I understood that because there were so many people talking. They were talking about music. They were talking about what they were doing. I'm over here so intrigued what's going on. I want to know questions, and I want to know the answer to the questions. But instead of using my background, I was just like, I don't care what y'all are talking about. I need to know what I need to know. You know, which is
Nerd
funny
talk.
because a lot of those people that I watched in that studio, none of them were around making music anymore.
Right.
That's how it go.
You know what I mean? You know, the drive is there because they planted the seed by me being in that studio. I always say, this is my quote. It's been a quote for everybody around the world every time. Everything happens for a reason. I was supposed to be there that day. I was supposed to learn something that day, and here I am right now.
100%.
Yeah.
Sure, chef. Sure.
Do you feel like you being a dancer first, do you feel like you incorporate that vision of you dancing inside your beats?
Like a bounce.
Good question. Yeah, and there is a balance between that. See, I could see myself doing that. I could see my young self
Right.
dancing to the music I make. But then again, the music that I was listening to back then when I was breakdancing is not what we listen to today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to date myself. I'm 52 years old. So to be 52 years old and create music that you're making today, you have to make sure you have your ears in the street constantly. You have to constantly listen to what goes on. And then you have to decide, do you still keep making the music you grew up listening to? Or do you incorporate some of the stuff you listen to today's music and make it your own? So my whole thing about music is I add myself to the music by my old school listening to stuff, some boom bap, a little bit of 70s music. You know what I'm saying? I'll add keys that have 70s elements, 80s elements. I do certain things like that. And I add that hip hop feel to it with the quality of sonically sound, the sonic quality sound that I use, which makes it sound a lot better. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have like just an old school beat, but you have something that anybody can rhyme to, rap to, sing to, do something. I feel like if you're making music, it has to be 100% versatile, not just for a rapper, but for every single body. Because if I can hear a rapper and he don't want it, I want to sell it to the next singer. You know what I'm saying? If the next singer don't want to sing, get on it, I'll sell it to the next person.
Right.
But it has to
Straight
fit
up.
everybody. It's got to be it's got to be versatile. Without being versatile, it's just music. It's just one song. You know, your music should always have a hand. I always say like a hand has fingers on it. You should be able to touch every single one of those keys of life with your hand. And because of that, you're able to push down and control it more. So if you're able to push that out into the universe, all of a sudden they can listen to your music. You're not stuck in one like, oh, it's just hip hop anymore. You feel me? You've created something that's not just one thing.
It's universal.
Many things, exactly.
Universal. There you go.
Yeah.
Universal minded. And speaking of that, it's interesting. I thank the universe. I thank the Lord because I got introduced to Dion Sharp from LooseConnxshun and also D1 in the top of this year, as well as Zzeu too. Shout out to Zzeu. I met him in the top of the year too. Yo, beauty of life. But they came to me with with a project in mind, and we linked up. The chemistry is wonderful. We're at the end of the year, still going strong. Actually, the album is complete. Shout out to D1. He got tracks for days. He got an album coming out soon.
And the album ain't the last thing, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Album should
We got
be
a lot
out
going
before the end of the year. That's what I'm aiming for.
Well, tell me a little bit about that. Like, how'd you guys meet as far as like working on projects?
So my son's girlfriend is best friends with him, and she's always telling me that she needed to introduce me to him. And I was on the verge of just literally stopping making music. I wasn't gonna make music anymore.
You're gonna stop, really?
Yeah, I really was going to. I decided like maybe I just put my whole heart into just being a dad, being a grandfather now, and just kind of moving on and doing something else. Even though I've seen a lot of my peers still doing things like that, going up and doing a lot of things with music, I felt like I was getting to the point where it wasn't doing enough for me. What happened was we were doing really well, and then COVID happened, like everything, right? COVID put a lot of stops in a lot of things. We were going through a lot of showcases, meeting a lot of people, instrumental people that was doing big things, and then COVID happened, of course. So when that happened, I just kind of like, there was no avenues anymore.
Right.
For music, unless you knew somebody that was doing something. And so I kind of just said I would decide I'm not going to do something. We were taking a trip. I can't name where, but we were taking a trip somewhere. He was in the back seat, she's like, this is that guy I told you. I was, what's up, Dom? You know, she told me about him. We talked a little bit, and he was like, oh, you know, I do music tonight. I'm a rapper, and I'm like, in my mind, no disrespect, I'm like a rapper. Like, you ain't telling me nothing I haven't heard, right? Because that's, you know, as a producer, you're like, oh, he's one of those.
Yeah.
Everybody's one of those. You know what I mean?
But then again, it's like artists are like that too. Like, what do? You
Oh,
rap?
are they? See, I'm not an artist, so I don't know. That's good to know.
It's kind of the same thing, but it's really how, you know, I think it's more so how you carry yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he was really good at that. Like, the conversation we had was cool. And then he was like, I was like, you know what? I'll tell you what, just send me some stuff. You know, if I like it, I'll let you know. I was like, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I was like, I'm brutally honest. If I don't like certain things, I'll let you know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not something I'm being disrespectful about. But I feel like if you're honest with certain people, they're able to take it to the next level. You know, they can fix what's wrong if they know what's wrong. If they don't, they'll just go on and you have a bunch of yes men around like, oh, you can do it. Yo, that's the best shit I've ever heard.
Oh, man.
Doesn't always work out that way. You know what I'm saying?
And I want to say in that car before you go on, we did not talk about music once. I didn't bring up music at all the whole time.
Actually, you're right.
That whole
we had
time.
the conversation was about him.
It was about
and it
But
had
that's
nothing to do
important,
with music.
though. That's important because you guys didn't get straight to the music.
Yeah, no, we didn't. We talked about music, but not as into details.
It was more about just like general interest.
That's
in music.
right. It was. It was
character.
something he was going through. I talked about it with him, and I gave him some really good conversation about it. And we talked, and then he was telling me about the music. I was like, send me some beats. I mean, send me some track. Like, send me what you got. And he sent me like a couple of days, I think it took. And me and him were talking on the phone. We kept in contact, and we talked. He sent me something. It was him and a friend of his, and I liked him. I'm not going to say nothing about the other friend. I just liked him, and I told him. And I was like, yo, I think you should really, you know, I think I got some stuff for you. Right. And so I sent him some stuff, and we just kind of like kept it going. It's funny because where we started, the evolution of where his music is now is nowhere compared to where we were. Like, you can tell the start from where we are right now. You know
How
what
it
I'm saying?
should be. How it should be.
Development.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, it is very important.
And it's
his
important.
sound quality, the things I make sure he has, so it's in there. Like, and you know, I'll put like everything on this. A lot of my inspiration came from the people that were in the studio with Rem. Like, I was here with Rem, listening to Rem, and I was like, wow, he's doing stuff I wanted to do. So we should apply that to some of the stuff he does. We're gonna do it in a different way, but. And then all of a sudden, Rem's involved, and it feels like it's not just a small project, but it's something bigger. But more importantly, I had somebody that was willing to keep doing things with music. I had this thing with people that I work with music. I made music for them. They listen to it in the car. Yo, it's dope, this and this and that. If you could take your music and put it in that car, why can't you put a full tank of that gas in that car, take it to New York City and find somebody to do something with it?
Right.
You gonna be your only fan? Not only fans. Only
Yeah, I
fans.
thought that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you gonna be your only fan? And that was like, like everything. There was like constant of the same things I kept running into. I would run into this rap. Oh yeah, I want to work with you, this and this and that. And I'm like, great, but what are you gonna do with it?
Right.
Like, if it's just gonna be like a ha-ha project, then I'm not with it. If it's not gonna have to do with business, or you're not gonna do anything with it, if you don't have to drive, I do. Then why should I drive for you if you ain't gonna drive for yourself?
And I think that's a lot of artists face that. Like, they get stuck in the like, I think I'm in that category, but I'm kind of like squiggling myself out of that. A lot of artists get into that mode where it's like they're just doing the music, they don't upload it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of artists get stuck.
Do you think it
And
has
they
more to
start
do with
questioning.
confidence than anything?
I think it's just how the algorithm is built
Yeah.
in this society.
You don't think you have a word of changing the algorithm? That's the thing
The
with me.
word? What?
I'm changing the algorithm.
Algorithm.
I think the thing is, people feel when you hear something that works for them, right? This is what I feel. When you hear something that works for them, that they got to stay on that. If you constantly stay on that, there's so many things on this side that you missed, right? So anything in this world could be changed. You know what I'm saying? You could take a road, and then about 2 years later down that road, they might have changed the road a little bit differently on you, right? So I don't ever look at things like that. I mean, everybody has this thing in the computer like, oh, this is going to work for them. No, I feel like if you put out something that you believe in,
Yeah.
everybody else will ride that. You have to believe in yourself. Without believing in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you.
Ain't nobody else ain't believe.
And that was one of the things with me and him. I said, the way you are is the way I need you to be if you really want to do this. I don't need you to change. No-go chains, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to act like you're from the hood shooting people. Don't do that. That's not your vibe. That's not you, right? Be 100% you. And now you got an audience that could identify with you, who you are, rather than like they're like, oh, he's another Vanilla Ice, or he's another Eminem, because everybody's going to compare a white person to Eminem. They're always going to do that no matter what. But
Skin
if you're
tone.
a completely different person, music-wise, rhyme-wise, looks-wise, you're not him. You're your own person. You're set aside from everybody else. You're on top of there where you need to be, and everybody's looking up rather than looking like, oh, he looks like a carbon fiber of everybody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was our thing, to make sure that we stay who we are. We stay grounded to who we are. First belief, God, then grounded to everything else. Feel me?
That's
Like God's got to be
that's
first and
important.
everything else comes second.
100%.
Yeah.
In a second. So that album is what? Fighter's Chance.
A fighter's chance, indeed it is. We got I think we're gonna do a different cover that we were talking about. We have displayed one cover, but we're gonna change that out very shortly.
Yep.
And then after that, it's pretty much good to go for the most part. We got a GIF feature on there now. We have a ReMM feature on there as well. And then that's it for features. But after that is what I'm most excited for. I'm getting this album out, promoting it, and then after that,
List.
it's gonna get real crazy.
Yeah.
100%.
Nonstop.
You're gonna look into doing music videos.
Yeah, eventually.
You have a video already, right? Or
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a video. I have one so far. But I'm going to look into doing more. I'm going to look into doing a lot of like reel style videos, like Instagram reels and stuff like that.
oh
Start
yeah,
performing.
Start performing too.
Yeah,
That
that's
one's gonna be a hurdle for me because I'm pretty damn confident in everything, but I know that one's gonna get me. But I'm
The
gonna
first
get
one you
there.
knock out, you're going to be fine. I
Yeah.
promise you.
The
That's
first
not
one's
for
always
real.
the good one.
Yeah.
It's good.
Because you're butterflies, you're nervous,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
out there,
Stage stomp. Once you get
mom
that
spaghetti,
complete-
Yeah, I mean,
What, mosh pit?
mom spaghetti.
I feel like
Oh, shit.
I feel like after the jiu-jitsu competition, a show won't be that scary
No,
for me.
it shouldn't be.
Like no. I feel like it won't be that bad. Just like in the moment, it'll feel like it
Get
is.
the jitters out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after that, it'll be smooth sailing.
You had any shows recently, Zzeu?
I think I had one show. I forgot what month it is. It was.
And you did it, or you missed it?
I did it. I'm a little high. I'm just thinking about
CloudLounge.
Questions coming
Yeah.
for him, yeah. But my bad, man.
Probably look for some gigs at the top of the year. You know, you can start stage stomping. We know some people, you know, especially videographers.
We have a few songs we could perform together now. Especially when
Oh, you want me to
the album
perform?
comes out.
Oh, yeah. You got to.
That's definitely something on my list, though.
What, performing?
To perform more, yeah. Step
This
out of my
starts, man.
comfort zone.
Let me know. I can hook you up with the people. I can get you the right
We'll
resources.
talk after this.
Yeah.
How about you, Sharp? Any performances? How performances go for you?
So I did a lot of beat battles.
That's right.
I did a lot of beat battles. We were part of Ice Standard, and Ice Standard had like a very huge following. They didn't call them beat battles; they called them showcases. But a lot of the panelists were like big people that did a lot of things. Too many to name. So we were. I think we did more Ice Standard showcases than any other performers or any other producers that were up there. Like we were like at 13 when we could have stopped at 1 when we first lost that one. The 1st one we did was at Boston, and
Around U.S., so you went around U.S. pretty much. Or
Pardon?
you went around New York.
yeah, it was in America, but it was all like in different places. So yeah, like Boston, Connecticut, New York, L.A.,
East Coast,
Atlanta,
West
Georgia. They're in Florida, places like that. They were everywhere. But so our first one was in Boston, and the thing we got was the criticism.
Right.
And, you know, the one thing one of the panelists had said was, you know, don't take this criticism for something that's bad. You know, creative criticism is really important. So you learn from this. And so I always took that with me. And I kept listening to the things they say. They were like, either the sound quality wasn't great. Use a different program or this and this and that or
Outdated.
outdated. You know, some of your sounds are not what it should be. You know, I got it. So every time we would go into these beat battles, showcases, it would be something different. And we ended up getting, after a while, we got second place in New York City. And then we went back to Boston, which was like our Achilles heel. And we became first place in Boston. We
Fire.
killed it.
Fire.
Yeah, we killed it. And then we went from Boston. Then they had the bigger beat battles because you sum it down to all the cities, and the number ones in all the cities have to battle each other, either in L.A., Atlanta, Georgia, Florida.
Oh wow.
So
That's
we
dope.
got to do that, and
It was a beat team or producer team, duo team. What was
so
it?
it's
LooseConnxshun.
producing in general. So it's like a beat
No,
maker.
but like
or
who were you?
Oh, it was me and my partner. It was, of course, me and my partner, Charles, BX
BX Charles.
Yeah, which is not here right now, but I'm sure he'll watch this and be like, damn, I'm not there now. Sorry. but, you know, it is what it is. He'll come around. But it was him and I, and we'd always take these trips and do this, and it was like coming back from beat battles when you lost, it's hard. Like if you know about loss is good. Loss teaches you things, you know?
Yep.
Loss makes you grow. He was always pissed, and I was always thinking, I got to learn from the other guys who won.
How did you guys meet?
Reason. Actually, I use Reason to make music. He was using some kind of corny ass fucking thing, and we were on like, I'm gonna date myself again. MySpace.
MySpace.
I met him through MySpace. He's like, yo, I love your music. I'm like, yo, yours is pretty dope too. And then he's like, oh, what do you use? I use Reason. What do you use? He's just using some other weird shit. I'm like, oh, you really need to get on Reason. It's like a better program. And then we met. He's like, yeah, I live in Chicopee. He's living in Chicopee. And he told me he was from the Bronx. I'm like, oh, I'm from New York too. We live in New York. We're from New York.
Right.
We connect like that. And I went over to his crib. He had a little setup. We started talking. We programmed Reason for him. Started teaching him stuff. Became friends. That was in about 04, 05.
Oh man, that's way back.
Yeah. And we didn't do anything music-wise until 07. Because, and I'm going to give it to Charles. He's like, yo, we got something where we're able to do some beat battles. You want to try doing it? And I was like, nah, I don't know. He's like, well, it's up to you. I was like, fuck it. Let's do it. So we did. And then we lost that first one in Boston, which didn't deter us from doing it. It kept us going. You know, you don't stop the grind.
You don't stop. Yeah.
You don't stop.
So what was that feeling like when you came in first place compared to feeling what it's like to just go and
Man.
not come first place?
It felt, it's funny because that was like, if you have a thought in your mind, you're like, I wish I can get there. I want to get there, you know? And you're going through these beat battles and showcases and you're like, damn, if I could be that number one, if I can get there. And then you see the guy that's next to you, he gets to number one, right? Because you get to meet all these producers and you get to politic a lot. They all became my friends. And so, which is good, because that helps you later on in life.
Yeah.
You know, you want
Knowledge.
to connect with people, make friends, and now you have an avenue that you didn't have before.
Right.
And if something comes up, they're able to help you out. If they
Networking
want, they're cool with
is
you.
net worth.
You know, network is important. So I would always see some of these guys make it and some of these guys didn't or whatever. And being a number one up there, I think it didn't hit me until Scram Jones. You can look him up. Dope ass producer.
Yep.
Dope ass. He's the one that said this. He said sonically, you guys have the best sound, and rearrange your he's like the rearrange of the arrangements of your music is so beyond I can't believe it. He's like, it's so dope.
Right.
He's like, everybody came in here with the A game, but you came in here like ready to take it over. And I felt very like pleased that somebody understood what I did.
Right.
Like I literally put a lot of time and effort into making those tracks specifically for that beat battle because Boston did us wrong. And I was like, I got to get you back. You know what I'm saying? But it felt good to be embraced by everybody right after in Boston. And so my like love-hate that I used to have for Boston because of it became more of a love because they showed me that love that I needed. And I got to meet a lot of really good people that did a lot of big things that day. And then we were off to L.A. And it was like an experience. I've never been to L.A. I've never been on a plane. So this is my whole experience. Like getting on a plane, I'm like...
Music. Look what music's taking you.
The music's taking me this place, you know? At the time, I was like, I don't know, like almost, I was like 48, 49. Like, I didn't think a person of my age would be able to take it that far. But then I was always reminded, like, music has no age limit. Like, you could be 155 years old if you're alive and still make music. It's all about what you make and how you do it. And so I felt grateful. I felt blessed that I was able to do that.
Go to the West Side.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't do very well, but I tell you, man, it is hard to go up against number ones that are just as good as you or even better.
Right.
You know, but I got a lot of good relationships out of it. You know, it was really important that I went through that. We went through that. We took care and came back to Mass, and it was like, what's the next step? And we started meeting a lot of different artists, and we kind of like grouped up, started meeting different artists, and most of the friends that I met, they hooked me up with different people to work with. So, and then I got the Double XL 20th anniversary. That's how I got through it.
You got your production on there.
Yep.
With Nicki Minaj. Ray Shrimmer, right?
Yep.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, and you can always look it up. It's on. You can go on YouTube. It's on there. My music is the background music while they have an interview and stuff. It's pretty dope. I even had tracks in the Bad Girls Club. I got songs on that when that was out. Did a couple of those. And all that's through iStandard. They helped you get avenues and places you can go to by posting your music up and helping you out.
I got a question for all of you guys, for all three, because this is all you guys as fan bases. What makes you happy in life besides music? Like, what's that second thing that makes you happy?
Where you want to go? Start first. Or?
You go first.
Okay. I can't say second. I'm going to call it first.
Or first, yeah.
God. Going to church every Sunday. Like, I wasn't into church, and then my wife got me into church, and I believe that, like, this is where I was supposed to be. And I give my grace to God every single day. And then comes my family, kids, and then music. Music ain't last, but God, family, music is the way it always is.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same exact thing with him. God first, that's the source. My children, my family, my loved ones, immediate fam, and then my music. And it's not in order, but it is in order in a way. But you know what I mean? Because I just love everything so passionately. You know what I mean? I love my life. I love being able to, detach and learn, unlearn, and grow. But mainly the source is how I get to do anything as far as co-creating for podcasts or being a father figure forever or being a good friend or being an audio engineer, an awesome one, by the way. Indeed. Or being an excellent recording artist. ZenRem, TRM, check me out, streaming sites.
By the way, so to piggyback off what they said, to not give the same answer of God and family, because of course that's first. For me, the only things that keep me going aside from music and those other two things are fighting and myself. Like, I've come to a point where, like, because I used to not like me at all. Sometimes I still don't like me because of, like, how I'm becoming now. I'm a little too, like, focused. Sometimes I'm cold to, like, people around me because I'm driven. And if I'm not with someone who's going to help me get where I want to go, and I can't help someone else get where they want to go, and we don't have the same goal, then it doesn't matter. And that's made me, like, so much happier in a selfish way. So, like, I would say definitely myself and fighting, for sure. If I didn't have fighting, I think I would probably not be able to be as I am now. I wouldn't be able to want to work like I do. Or otherwise, I'd be at home on my couch talking to all my friends about how I'm going to be a rapper one day and how I'll make it out with no fucking clue how I'll do it. So I would definitely say martial arts and myself, for sure.
Yeah, it's that discipline. You on the same wave pretty much, right?
I'm pretty much on the same wave. I think something that makes me happy personally is reflecting off of losses to make myself better.
Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah, evaluating, laying it out, seeing what it is, shedding, growing.
It makes me happy because I know where I came from and I know how I could get better in life. So I value that a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure.
Self-awareness is key.
Yes.
That's good, man. Yo, Dion, Sharp, from Loose Connections. You know, it's interesting, man. We did this podcast a couple times. I ain't gonna lie. I love being honest.
At least two or three.
You know, he was on
times.
episode 0. It was on SoundCloud and what have you. You know, but this guy is the guy right here. He's always here. Salute to him.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate it.
you know, all his future endeavors and the success. You know, everybody's successful, up to date. Thank the Lord. You know, they got the project coming out and a lot more material coming out. So where can people find some of your material for the time being? Like what you got going on? Like
You can find it in my crib. Now I'm joking. I got it in the car. Now I'm
you
joking.
got PC or laptop you deal with?
Oh, I do it. No, I do everything off my laptop.
Laptop, yeah.
Yeah, I do everything. I used to have a whole studio with PC and all that stuff. I just felt like you don't even need half that equipment anymore.
Nope.
You don't need it. Like I could understand back then. I felt like, oh look, it's lights and keys and
That's all
I told them I had so many keyboards and so many things and like I got rid of it. And all I have is a laptop, same thing right here, a little thing interface, and then
Interface, yeah.
my program and my little Akai. I could do all my stuff on that. I don't need anything else. I could take it with me, go on a plane if I need to, and start working on music. But you can find us on SoundCloud, Loose Connection SoundCloud. You can find us on D1's album is gonna come out, so
Damn right.
that's gonna be crazy.
100%.
You know,
Fire.
it's nothing I've ever worked on. I felt like I said, working on this album, being around Ram, being around D1, and it was completely different than what I'm used to, and I felt like the most comfortable I was making music. Even when I showed you that track today, I was so comfortable making that. I was very confident, and I'm never confident making music, but making music around these guys, I feel completely confident. You, like I said, you can check out some of the stuff that I've done on YouTube. It's Dion Diaz YouTube _ I'm joking. I don't even know what that fuck it is. I know it's under Loose Connections. It goes # Loose Connections.
It'll be in the description. 100%.
Yeah, it'll be in the description. So, but yeah, you can find music like that. Like
You don't lease no beats? You never thought about
See,
that?
that's
Beat
the thing
Star?
I did before, and
Season?
I always feel like when people do stuff like that, you have kids, right? Everybody has kids here. Who else? You know, those who have kids. Isn't it difficult to let your kids go with somebody you don't know? I feel like music is my kid. So when I lease music to somebody, they'll misuse it, do something with it, and I don't care about the money. I care about more that I created something out of nothing.
Respect.
The art.
You know what I'm saying? It's the art of music. I don't expect somebody to take my music and do something like a porn movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I hope, pray to God, none of my music's out there doing that. But and I'm not getting paid for it. That's a bigger part too. But you know what I'm saying? But I would like to see my music do something productive. And if you wanted to influence somebody else, you can't let it out there and do that. And a lot of people have this misconception: put your music out, put your music out. Why?
Yeah.
Why? If you're gonna put it out to the right people, that's different. But if you put it out to a whole bunch of weirdos out there, you're gonna get some stuff back that you're not gonna like. So you have to be very, very aware of where you put your music at, where you place it at, who you set the tone to get that track out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I work with him, but if I met another artist, we have to talk to that artist. You know what I'm saying? As a collective. Because if they don't have the same energy that I have with him or that I have with him or like I met you today, you know what I'm saying? If they don't have that same energy, I don't think I want to work with them. And I'm to that point in my life where I'm able to do that and say those things. Not everybody's comfortable with themselves to do that. They want the money and everything like that. That's great. I mean, but money can't buy you peace of mind.
Happiness.
It can't buy you happiness. It can't buy the hard times you spend on working on that track creatively. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of music you make, everybody makes music, and usually if you make good music, you can tell because it comes from the heart. It's a feeling that you feel. You don't just make it, you feel that track. You didn't just spit that shit out and that was it. You made that. You felt a type of way that day. That's what you made. And this is the product of it.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's really important that people should never just give their music away or lease their music. I mean, some gonna do it. Who am I to say you can't?
Yeah, some will do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Some people will take the strategy of if it sticks, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You never thought about like even if you made a certain specific batch just to sell, if it's your B+ grade type beats, just
So
to make money.
I used to sell.
Because you know how that works, right? The leasing, like
Yeah, the
a couple, like 10,000 people are using the same beat.
Yeah.
One of them is gonna do successful. Either way, you're getting royalties from the beat, and you're getting paid from everybody who's leasing off that beat.
So I'm all about like
But that'll be the beats
percentages,
from-
right? So then you got like one in how many chances when that person
But then that
makes
gets
it.
into like
That's
politics.
for everyone. Yeah.
Okay, so but it's for everyone. You're right.
Yeah.
One in how many chances, right? So if I got like 50 people and one person makes it, how far is he gonna make it where I'm able to say to my job, I'm done? Or I work with an artist that I feel he is just as passionate as I am about my music, and do something with that. So like I said, it's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone.
This is an individual.
And I'm aware. I'm
Yeah.
aware of where you're at as far as
Yeah.
the wisdom too. And
I just feel
to
like,
each his own.
I just feel like it to each his own. That's right.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different way, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there making a ton of money. God
Because
bless y'all for doing
I've
that.
seen
Yeah.
certain things, and I'm like, that's an interesting game to get into. I'm not a fully beat maker all the way, even though I started in 05. You know what I mean? And any of my production will be on my projects. But not enough to be selling it to other people.
And this is funny you said that
man.
because right now I have a really good friend. His name is Marcus Banks. He does so much with he's doing stuff with computers right now, but he's he takes music and he puts it to that next level. He's trying to get me to do that right now. So we are a conversation is coming up constantly about should we do some leasing? Should we do this? Should we do that? So I'm hoping that, if it works out, that's okay. If it works out. But like I said, I'm very... I don't know. I guess I'm like I said. It's for me. It's like it's my babies. Those are my child. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's
yeah.
hard to pull out. You as an artist,
Yeah.
I'm sure you understand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you as an artist too. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. When you have something that's creative, it's very difficult to see somebody else do it. And what if they do it and they shit on it? And now you sit back and you're gritting your teeth like I knew I should not have done.
I've
this.
gone through that, but because my strategy was everything that I wrote, I didn't throw it in the trash. I recorded.
Yeah.
Day one, writing. Day two is writing and recording. So anything I wrote, I recorded and I released when I figured out how to release it. MySpace, Famous, high school, on top of the shit, pep rally, all that shit. Afterwards, all the showcasing for many, many years, even up to now with studio for a couple years and all that shit. But you have to find your lane. You have to find what sticks. People reinvent and revitalize the image.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You keep being consistent. You keep staying
Believe
focused to your passion. Because trust and believe, there's many seasons and people come in and out. Whereas they gonna keep you stuck in this level, and you're either gonna succeed or get stuck and then give up on your dreams and yourself. But I love going through weathering all the storms.
CloudLounge.
You know what I mean? I love being in the CloudLounge. I love being universal minded.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Acting accordingly, and just being co-creating and moving with 3 eyes: integrity, inspiration, and the instincts and how to handle and get right, do right, stay focused. Zen Rem podcast. CloudLounge with Rem. Zen Rem T. Remedy. I'm here with D1. We got
Before
Zzeu.
we end it off, hold up, wait. You got any motivational quote or anything that's motivating, dear to your heart, that you want to tell the audience?
Yeah, don't let anything stop you. Don't let anyone tell you can't, because can't means can if you just take off that T. Feel me? So all you got to do is just keep doing what you're doing. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Focus on what you need to do and stop hanging out with people that always think that you're the best of something. They're like always yes men.
Yes.
You can't have a bunch of yes men. You got to have people that have the same energy and same drive that you have, or else you're just going to be hanging with a bunch of knuckleheads and nobody going to help you do anything, The team that you run with, they should be the team that have the same, what you want for yourself, they should want the same for you.
Right.
If they don't want the same for you, they shouldn't be part of your team. They should not be part of your team because they're not there to uplift you.
We go through that too, the trial and error. We'll go through that too. But you'll find your way as long as you stay determined and chase your ideal self and have some source, connected to with the fuel and following your dreams, right?
Facts.
'Cause you've been doing it as longer as I've been alive, but a salute is all love.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Because hip hop is 50
you know what I
years
say
old.
though? This is probably the best time of my life.
It should be.
This is the best time of my life, being here in his studio with Rem.
Oh,
and
heaven.
this is the best time of my life right now.
Blessings.
Doing music with people that I respect, being around people that I respect. You know what I'm saying? It's good to give those jewels back to a younger person. You know what I'm saying? Or even people that do music
Yeah.
in general. So I respect that. This was a great show, and thank you for having me here.
No
For real, I appreciate
no.
it.
Shout out to you,
Peace.
bro.
Dion,
Peace.
Sharp, Loose
Love y'all.
Connections,
I don't know
Zzeu,
about y'all. I don't know, let me
D1,
say
ReMM, T.I. Remedy, ReZerXtion Studio. See y'all next time. Subscribe.
You're damn right.
Subscribe.